Every NFL season begins the same way. Millions of fans take their seats, hold their breath, and wait for the moment that reminds them why they fell in love with this game in the first place. Because football isn't just a sport, it's a place where the impossible steps onto the field every Sunday, where physics breaks, logic collapses, and one play can flip destiny on its head. And every fan, no matter what team they cheer for, carries that tiny spark of belief. Maybe today, something legendary will happen. Sometimes it's a catch that should have never been caught. Sometimes it's a comeback that math said was impossible. Sometimes it's a broken body refusing to stay broken, or a forgotten player rewriting his own legacy. These moments don't just win games, they become mythology. They become the stories fathers tell their kids, and fans replay for decades. Moments where entire stadiums go silent, then explode into disbelief. From wildcard teams slaying giants, to backups becoming icons, to careers resurrected when everyone else had written the final chapter. These are the miracles that define generations of NFL fans. So today, we look back at the plays, the seasons, and the unbelievable comebacks that made the world ask the same question: how did that just happen? 1. David Tyree's helmet catch, Giants vs. Patriots, Super Bowl 42 February 2008. The New York Giants, a wild card team standing against the undefeated New England Patriots. The Patriots were chasing perfection 19-0, the greatest season ever, but with under 2 minutes left, Eli Manning somehow escaped a near sack. He threw deep down the middle, and David Tyree, a backup receiver few had ever heard of, trapped the ball against his helmet. That catch kept the drive alive, and moments later, the Giants scored the winning touchdown. The Patriots' perfect season, gone. David Tyree, immortal one miracle catch ended football's greatest dynasty run and reminded every fan that anything is possible. 2. Franco Harris and the Immaculate Reception, December 23rd, 1972, AFC Divisional Playoff Steelers versus Raiders. Seconds left on the clock. Pittsburgh down by a touchdown. Terry Bradshaw fires a desperate pass. It bounces off a defender, and somehow running back Franco Harris appears out of nowhere, scoops it inches from the turf, and races to the end zone. Fans called it the Immaculate Reception. Some Raiders still swear it touched the ground, but to Steelers fans, it was divine intervention, the spark that began Pittsburgh's dynasty of the 1970s. Sometimes the football gods pick their favorites. 3. Patriots 28-3, comeback versus Falcons, Super Bowl 51. Fast forward to 2017. The Atlanta Falcons led 28-3 in the third quarter of the Super Bowl. The game looked over, fans were leaving the stadium. Then, Tom Brady happened. Drive after drive, he led the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, tying the game, forcing overtime, and eventually winning 34-28. Even those who hated the Patriots couldn't believe what they were witnessing. You don't just erase a 25-point deficit on the biggest stage in sports, unless you believe in miracles. 4. The Minnesota Miracle, Stephon Diggs walk-off catch, January 2018. NFC Divisional Round, Vikings vs. Saints. Down by 1, 10 seconds left, no timeouts. Case Keenum launches a desperate pass to Stephon Diggs on the sideline. Diggs makes the catch, turns upfield, and the defender misses. He sprints untouched into the end zone. The stadium shook. The city roared, and the phrase Minnesota Miracle was born. It wasn't just a win, it was a spiritual experience. 5. Scott Norwood, wide right, but not every miracle ends in joy. Super Bowl 25, the Buffalo Bills, trailing by 1, line up for a 47-yard field goal to win it all. Scott Norwood's kick sails wide right. The Bills lose and heartbreak floods Buffalo. But what makes this moment powerful isn't the miss, it's what came after. The fans stood by him, they cheered Norwood at the team rally, they believed again next year. Even in defeat, NFL fans find faith. 6. The 1993 Dallas Cowboys, from 0 to 2 to champions. The 1993 Cowboys began their season 0-2, and panic swept through Dallas. But when star running back Emmitt Smith returned from his contract holdout, everything changed. The Cowboys went on a run, dominating opponents, reclaiming their swagger, and finished the season as Super Bowl champions. From crisis to celebration, that season reminded fans that the lowest moments often come right before the miracle. 7. The 2018 Philadelphia Eagles, the Nick Foles story. 2018. The Philadelphia Eagles' dream season seemed doomed when MVP candidate Carson Wentz tore his ACL. Enter backup quarterback Nick Foles, a man who nearly retired from football 2 years earlier. He led the Eagles through the playoffs, outdueled Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, and delivered the city's first Lombardi trophy. The underdog story became legend, and Philly special entered football folklore. When destiny calls, even a backup can become a hero. 8. Tom Brady's new beginning, Tampa Bay Super Bowl. Win after 2 decades in New England, 6 rings, and endless glory, Tom Brady left the Patriots in 2020. Many thought his career was winding down. Instead, he joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and won the Super Bowl in his first season. He became the first quarterback to win a Super Bowl in both conferences and proved that belief, not age, defines greatness. When the world doubts you, believe harder. 9. Jason Witten's courage. Playing with a lacerated spleen 2012. Dallas Cowboys tight end. Jason Witten suffered a lacerated spleen in the preseason, an injury that usually ends a player's year. Doctors warned him it could be life-threatening, but Witten refused to give up. Weeks later, he was back on the field, catching passes, blocking defenders, and leading his team. It wasn't just toughness, it was belief, the kind that turns pain into power. 10. Ray Lewis's comeback. Torn triceps to Super Bowl champion. Same year, different story. Ray Lewis, the heart of the Baltimore Ravens, tore his triceps early in the 2012 season. Most assumed his career was over, but he promised his team he'd return, and he did just in time for the playoffs. Lewis led the Ravens defense all the way to a Super Bowl victory over the San Francisco 49ers. He walked away a champion, proof that faith, leadership, and belief can heal more than muscle. 11. Alex Smith's return from a life-threatening injury, November 2018. Washington quarterback Alex Smith suffered one of the most gruesome leg injuries in NFL history, compound fractures, infections, 17 surgeries, doctors considered amputation. His career, maybe his life, was at risk, but after nearly 2 years of rehab, Alex Smith returned to the field in 2020. When he took that first snap, the crowd and every fan watching stood in awe. It wasn't about winning that day, it was about surviving and proving that miracles still exist. 12. Joe Montana's second act, the Chiefs' comeback. In the late 1980s, Joe Montana was the face of the 49ers' 4 Super Bowl titles. Pure brilliance. But after a devastating elbow injury, he lost his starting job to Steve Young. Most thought his career was finished. Instead, Montana signed with the Kansas City Chiefs and led them to the AFC Championship game in 1993. He didn't win another ring, but he won something bigger: redemption. Even legends fall, but the great ones rise again. From helmet catches to healed bones, from heartbreaks to second chances, the NFL has always been a theater for miracles. These moments remind us that the game isn't just about touchdowns or trophies. It's about resilience, faith, and believing when nobody else does. Every fan knows that feeling your team is down, the odds are impossible, but you still believe. Because in football, as in life, belief is what makes the impossible happen. And that's why NFL fans can't stop believing in miracles.